Let's learn how to make a pinch pot. You'll start with a piece of clay and roll it up into a sphere. Work the clay together and touch your hands into the water so that it does not dry out. Roll the clay between your palms around and around, rotating both palms so that it becomes round and smooth. Then poke a hole with your thumb into the center of the clay. Push your thumb far into the clay so it gets close to the bottom. You'll have to use your thumb muscles. Next, you need to get your pinchers out, your thumb and your two fingers. Put your thumb in the center of the clay and your two fingers around the outside. Rotate your clay and pinch and turn evenly so that you start to pull the center hole so that it becomes wider and the clay from the sides will come up. Pinch and turn until you get even walls on your pinch pot and they're about as thick as your pinky. Notice how if I see that there's a thicker or thinner spot, I continue to rotate and pinch. Once the walls are all about as thick as a cookie or your pinky, you can do the tap test where you tap it onto the table to flatten the bottom. You can also use water to smooth out the edges and just again make sure everything is nice and smooth and even and about as thick as your pinky when creating your pinch pot. When you are ready to start adding things to your pinch pot, here are some tips and tricks for what you can do. Remember that you can turn your pinch pot any direction. It doesn't have to be just setting on its base like this. You can turn it sideways. Whatever side you want it to stand on, you kind of want to do the tap test to make sure that it will stand. I'm going to turn my pinch pot into a singing mouth. So I've kind of changed the size of the opening to make it look like a kind of a wavy shaped mouth. There I was just kind of trying to decide if I should have it taller or keep it turned on its side. And now I'm kind of making space to add some things. So I'm kind of forming the top of it so that I can add some eyes and extra things to make it look like someone that is singing. Now, there are lots of different things that you can do with clay. One thing that I really like to do is take pieces of clay, roll them into balls, and then use those either flattened or as spheres to create a lot of different things. So I took a ball of clay and then I flattened it with my palm to create the eyes and then even eyebrows. If I cut my circle in half, I can create eyebrows or winky eyes out of just a simple sphere of clay. So I'm just kind of making the different pieces that I want to add. Make sure that whenever you're making pieces, you add a little bit of water to your fingers just so that they stay smooth and they don't get cracky. So I made eyebrows, a winky eye, and a round eye to attach to my pinch pot in a couple of different ways. Now I, again, am going to take a ball of clay, flatten it out with my palm, and then cut to the shape that I want. When you flatten out clay with your palm, it makes a nice slab and about cookie thickness. Ooh, I am making teeth to go into my mouth, and I measured and they were a little bit big, so I used my cutting tool to cut it shorter. So I'm just making all these different pieces. I also just took another ball of clay, flattened it with my palm to make a tongue. Now, whenever we are attaching things, we're going to score, make little lines, and dip your finger in the water to make clay glue. Notice how I also press down once I place the tongue inside of my pinch pot. That makes sure that everything stays attached. Score, slip, and press down to attach things. Now with every other piece I made, I have to do the same thing. I can't just set them on the pinch pot and expect them to stick. Even if they seem a little stuck, you still have to score, make little lines, slip, dip your finger in the water, make clay glue, and press down and smooth out with water, as you can see I'm doing here. Because when the clay dries, if it's not attached this way, things will start to crack off. So I'm smoothing everything out, pressing it down after I score and slip everything I'm adding to my pinch pot. Once you have things added, you can add other details by stamping things in, drawing things in with tools. Here I'm adding texture, kind of like hair, with one of my tools to make my entire pinch pot look interesting and have lots of awesome details. Notice how I have my hand on the inside of my pinch pot, keeping it stable so that it doesn't collapse. My last step can be kind of forming the mouth of my pinch pot back into the shape that I want it to be, so I kind of made it sturdy. And if you would like me to help you at the end to put some paper towel to keep your pinch pot strong as it dries so that it keeps that same shape, we can do that to finish this project. I'm so excited to see the awesome details you add to your pinch pots. You can make them look like they're singing. These are going to be so fun and awesome when they are all finished. Good luck with your pinch pot creations.